better. Tell me about your experience here in Thailand so far.
Paradise, I guess, is what I would call it. I mean, it's incredibly cheap to live here. The fruit is amazing and varied and cheap, and there's sun all the time, and you know, it's kind of warm, but I like it. I come from chilly Connecticut, so I am very used to winter here, and I've just finished my first non-winter winter, and it was the best thing I've ever done. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Cool. How long have you been in town?
In Chiang Mai, I've been here about 3 months, but I've taken a few breaks to travel around a little bit, so not quite a three steady months, but back and forth.
Your favorite thing about the area?
There's a lot of culture here. There's a lot of good, you know, you can find yoga studios, you can find anything, any kind of class that you want is probably here. There's a lot of just backpackers and laid-back people, interesting people to talk to. There's Wang Mai Market, which is like the best market I've ever found. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's definitely the best one in the world, but you know, it's up there.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. And you know, the city itself doesn't have a lot of nature. This is like the one park.
It's a nice park.
It is a nice park. But you know, you can, if you want to go and just climb Mount Suthep and just enjoy nature up there. So you know, it's perfect because it has that blend of infrastructure, which I need to run my business, and the fruit and the sun and the ability to get out into nature. So you know, it's a good place to be.
Cool. So where are you headed after this? You said you're leaving soon?
Yeah, well, I'm headed down to the Chanterbury Fruit Festival. I'll be there for next week, so durian feasting. You know, I have a limited intake amount of durian. I can only take so much before I get sick, so I've been saving up for like a few weeks. I haven't been eating very much because I know that when I get there, I'm going to be stuffing my face and I'll probably make myself sick. So you know, I'm prepared. And yeah, and there's so much other cool stuff. I'm going to make some rounds in Thailand before I come back here. I'm thinking about a meditation retreat and some other stuff.
Very cool. Yeah, well, it'd be fun to have you come back up here. I'll be here for a few months, so it's good to run into other 80-10-10ers.
Yeah, definitely.
Always kind of fun eating in front of other people because they just watch you eat like a pile of bananas and just sit and stare, so it's fun to have
someone who doesn't think you're weird.
Yeah.
Like, we just shared some watermelon, and you know, I ate 2 big ones, and she didn't think it was that odd. It's kind of nice.
It's comfortable. You were telling me a little bit earlier that you're working on a new book.
Yeah, I guess I should probably give you a little background information. So I run a website, rawfoodhealth.net, and so I just kind of started that as a hobby years ago, as I was still working as a newspaper reporter, and it just kind of grew and became more popular. And after a while, people started asking me for like advice and stuff, and so I started writing ebooks. And so they've kind of become more popular over time, and I've decided this next one I'm going to publish, which is Raw Food Waitlist Loss and Vitality. I used to weigh 220 pounds, and I've lost that, and I used to have colitis, and that's gone too. So you know, just talk about that, and you know, some of the tips, because it wasn't a straightforward process for me. A lot of people just talk about like they can't keep any weight on when they go raw. That definitely didn't happen for me. I definitely can't eat all the fruit I want in like infinite quantities. I definitely need to, you know, use some interesting strategies, but I've come across some things that work really well for me to help me maintain my weight at a good level and to lose weight and gain weight as I want to. So I just started writing about that, and I've been kind of holed up in my apartment for, you know, 3 months working on it. So it's coming along pretty well. So that should be out hopefully before the end of the year.
So tell me, how did you become a raw foodist?
I had pretty bad health when I was growing up, and that kind of like led to some other problems. So you know, I was really overweight when I was growing up. I maxed out at 220 pounds when I was 17.
Wow.
And so I kind of had poor self-esteem and just like, you know, a lot of kind of depression, and just I never was really all that self-confident, and so my youth was kind of messed up like that. And I also, starting in middle school, started having intestinal problems, which I didn't get them checked out or anything, but years later they just kept getting worse and worse. By college, I realized that they were colitis. So by that time I was already a vegan, and I had already been researching health for a long time, and I knew that there was a huge connection between what I was eating and my health and my mental state. And so I had already kind of been down that road, and I knew that despite what my doctor was telling me that, this isn't caused by anything, that there was a connection. And it really pissed me off when he told me that, especially because I had already, experimented with removing grains and starches from my diet and found that I could completely eliminate the colitis just by getting rid of them. But the problem was that without meat, dairy, eggs, and grains, and eating low fat, because I was, smart enough to realize that the high-fat diets just weren't going to get me to where I wanted to be. That left me with vegetables and like fruit as a snack. And it wasn't until actually Doug's book, before he came out with 80-10-10, he was kind of more well known. I stumbled upon grain damage, and so that's about how grains and starches aren't really good foods. And so I already knew that theoretically, but because just from my experiments, but I never had made the connection between fruit as the calorie source that I needed, because before I was just sticking to vegetables and beans, and I was just always, I had to stop running, I had to stop my fitness because I just didn't have any energy. So I was getting rid of my colitis, but I couldn't keep going on like that. So I would have to give in and eat potatoes, and my colitis would come back. And so finally, when he said that fruit was a better selection, it was like a eureka moment. It made perfect sense. I mean, that's what primates eat. Right. Why shouldn't that be our calorie source? So that was in 2006, and I did my first 30-day experiment. Just ate bananas for 30 days to get rid of my colitis. By the end of the first 2 weeks or so, most of my colitis symptoms were gone, and by the end of 2 months, I was able to eat vegetables again, and all the pain, all the blood and pus in my stool, all the constipation, all just gone. And I was feeling better than I had in my life, and so that's how I became a raw foodist.
Very cool. Yeah, it's a pretty adventurous discovery.
Yeah.
Have you had any opportunities to meet Doug Graham in person, Dr. Graham in person?
Yeah. I think the first time I met him was in like early 2009 at a lecture in New Jersey. And I attended his Health and Fitness Week in like fall of 2009, and we've met a few times since then, and we communicate by email periodically. He's an awesome guy. I'm glad he's out there in the world doing what he's doing. Definitely a cool guy.
What was your experience like with Health and Fitness Week?
It was really cool because since I kind of overcame my depression and started getting in shape, I've really been into personal development, just mental, physical, emotional, just working on all that stuff. And so, I was kind of self-driven to begin with in terms of fitness. I was training for a marathon when I went over there, but I'm always really happy to be shown how inadequate in various areas I am. So, I'm in reasonably good shape. But I realized my balance was not nearly as good as it should have been, and I had other weak areas. And plus, hey guys, if you ever want to be humbled, go and work out with Doug. Now keep in mind, this was me. This was a couple years ago, so I'm like 25 or 24 or somewhere around there, and I should be in the prime fitness of my life. And here's Doug, who is in his late 50s, I think, right?
Yeah.
And he's just at least as good as everything I'm doing. At least as good. And in a lot of areas, he's just just flipping around on the trampoline, and it's kind of like, oh, that's nice. Yeah. Way to make your point there. Yeah. So
pretty much put anyone to shame. Find a way somewhere.
It's kind of like that is how I want to be when I'm. You look around at like the average 58-year-old guy, and you're like, definitely don't want to be that guy when I'm 58. And so, you know, it's nice to see someone aging well.
Understatement. Yeah, I had a chance to hang out with him in Costa Rica for a bit, and it was almost a suicide mission to go train with him, but it was great because you get stronger, you know, and you learn where you need improvements. It's an